ready to find out LankyBox's biggest real-life secrets in these animated story videos. We reveal the worst day of our lives, the time we got grounded for a year, and even our cringy first kiss stories. These stories are super exclusive and embarrassing. You don't want to miss any of them. Let's go!
So this story starts when I was in 5th grade. I was 10 years old.
Okay.
Now, how it was set up was every day you could order school lunch. It was like $2 or $3,
yes.
right? My mom at the start of the year put in enough money so I could have 5 school lunches a year.
What?
Every other day,
I had to bring
my own lunch. And if I own lunch, it would be like some like peanut butter and jelly and like some apples.
Wait,
that got, like,
I thought you were gonna say 5 a week or 5 a month.
No.
5 a year?
5 school lunches per year.
What was your mom's reasoning for that?
She thought that food from our house was healthier.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Which is fair. It probably is.
Yeah, probably.
Now, at my school, I don't know about you guys where you are, if you're in the United States or not, but at my school we had like classic stuff like pizza. Chicken nuggets, burgers.
Like corn dogs.
We had burgers, stuff like that.
All my favorite foods in one place.
Exactly. But when I brought lunch from home, it was always the same thing. It was a sandwich and some apples and maybe some crackers.
You're forgetting the grass. You're forgetting the sweet, sweet fruits from the top of the tree, but that's okay. Sandwich is pretty good.
Now, normally, because I would bring it in a lunchbox, right? It would get all crushed.
Yes.
And so I would be sitting at the table. All right, here we go. Take out my PB&J. It's all crushed. I look over my friend. He's got a nice plate with a big burger and a corn dog. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, that's your friend wouldn't share? Did you ask, hey, could I have a little bit?
No.
Oh, that's not a real friend.
Would you have shared with me?
Absolutely not. Come on now. Hey, you already know if I was in that cafeteria with you, I have about 6 burgers and about 400 chicken nuggets.
Can I have some?
Absolutely not. No.
So another thing I forgot to mention was that on Fridays at my school, they had this special thing where they would give us popcorn. So they would have like one of the parents' moms volunteer to make popcorn, and my mom was one of those moms.
Oh, man.
So once a month on Friday, she would come and make popcorn, and every kid could buy a bag for 25 cents.
Oh, it's not free? I thought it was free.
25 cents.
What a ripoff. Your school's running a business.
So my mom would sometimes come in, right? And it was always like a great time.
Once a month?
Yeah, once a month.
Okay.
It was always fun. She would always come over to me. She sometimes like sneak me like a free popcorn.
Your mother is embezzling popcorn from the school. No, I'm reporting that.
One day I was like, I want to use one of my 5 school lunches. Today's the day.
Why? But like, why?
I was feeling myself. I was like, I gotta flex, you know, I want to be like the cool kids. Because I would see everyone line up and they'd look so cool. And I'd just be sitting there at the table alone eating my sandwich. Because most kids ordered lunch.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, okay, what I want is a burger and some white milk. Just normal milk. That is my dream meal.
A burger and milk.
That's what I want to eat. So I get in line, I punch in my number, whatever. So I grab my tray, I point to the thing, she puts it on.
Oh, man.
I keep going, and I go to grab the milk, and I'm like, wait, this is a fish wish. This is a fish sandwich.
What's a fish wish?
It's like a burger, except for instead of
You didn't really said fish wish. What's a fish wish?
It's a fish burger.
Put it back. Get a regular burger.
I was already too far down the line, and I was too scared to go like back. I thought I would get in trouble, and they would like not give me anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You already know me. I don't mess with no fish wishes up in here. Give me a real burger. You were too scared?
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I got a fish sandwich. So I grabbed my milk, whatever, put it on, went to my table, put it down. I was so sad.
You wasted your 1 out of 5 on a fish wish.
Yeah, and I go to sit down at the table. I open my milk and I start to drink it, and it's pink.
What?
I'm like, what is this? And it says on the carton, strawberry. I was like, no! Because the white milk and the strawberry milk both come in white cartons.
You had one job. Get a burger and the regular milk. And you got a fish wish and some strawberry milk. You trolling.
My day was ruined.
Yeah.
I was literally about to cry. You guys don't know how important this was to me.
I was literally, you were definitely crying.
Eating the fish wish.
I don't want a fish wish.
So I basically was just depressed the entire day. Probably the entire week.
The entire month. Honestly, yeah. my whole year would be ruined. I had to eat a fish wish.
Have you never had a fish wish?
That's not what it's called. It's called a fish sandwich. Why'd you call it a fish wish?
Because I wish to never eat this fish.
When I said that the first time, I thought it was literally a fish that grants you a wish.
So I used one of my precious school lunches and I just belly flopped. Just everything went wrong.
A tragedy.
Sad.
A tragedy.
Now, during this time, my mom, for some reason, wanted to make our entire family vegetarian for like a whole year. I think it was because she wanted to go on a diet that was vegetarian, and since she cooked for everyone, she was like, all right, well, all of us are vegetarian
Wow,
now.
your mom's a savage.
Yeah.
Your mom's like, y'all doing what I'm telling you, and I don't want to hear no buts.
And she was basically like, if I catch you eating meat, you'll be in trouble. Because she wanted to make sure everyone was vegetarian. Right?
And you know, this guy likes to eat burgers. If you know what I'm saying.
So, you already know me, I don't like getting in trouble. I was just like you when you were younger. I was straight A's, so I'm not eating any meat. So flash forward a couple months, right? It's probably like December, Christmas time. I'm like, I'm gonna use another one of my school lunches.
Oh man.
Now, it was probably like a Friday. I was feeling good. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get the lunch that I want. So I was like, well, what's the lunch I want?
What is the lunch you want?
The burger and the milk. What I wanted to get the first time. But I was like, wait a minute. A burger is meat. I'm not supposed to eat this.
Oh man.
So then you get that kind of like, ooh, I'm doing something wrong. This kind of feels good.
You get a rush.
Right, exactly. So I go to the line.
Man gets a rush when he's eating those burgers.
So I go into the line. I'm confident this time. I'm like, I know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Punch in the number. Say to lunch lady, I'd like one burger. She's like, okay, there's your burger. I made sure it was a burger this time.
Yeah, you even
I'm like,
checked it.
yep. I'm like,
there's no fish in this wish. No.
I go grab the milk, make sure it's the right milk, put it on the tray. I sit down. Boom. I got my meal that I wanted. I did it my way. So I pick up my burger. I'm about to go in for a big bite. And who do I see walk into the lunchroom? My mom!
Oh, what?
It was popcorn day.
Oh.
And she was in charge of the popcorn.
You idiot! This happens once a month. How did you do that?
I don't know. I was so caught up in the burger, I just couldn't think. My brain got all foggy. So I see her walking in, wheeling this popcorn machine in. She got the popcorn in one hand, wheeling the machine. She's all smiling. I'm in the lunchroom. I got my tray.
Oh, man.
And I was one of the first ones to sit down because I ran into the lunchroom that day.
Naturally.
I was the first one. All my other friends were still in line.
Oh.
So here I was alone, and she knows where I sit. She knows what class I'm in. She knows where to find me.
So she's like, I look for the kid sitting by himself with no friend. I know where my son is.
So I'm like, okay, I have this burger. I have to hide it because I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, do I take the patty out and like put it in my pocket?
What?
Do I try and eat the burger really quick so she can't see that I ordered a burger? Because like she said, you cannot eat meat. And she said I get in trouble if I ate meat.
So you really consider taking the patty out and hiding it?
Yeah. I was considering like switching my tray with someone else. Pause! Guys, really quick, make sure to go to Walmart and Target and get some LankyBox merch on pause! But I didn't have any friends.
True.
I didn't have anyone to switch it with.
Oh, man.
So I started sweating. I was panicking. Here she comes, she's walking over with the popcorn machine. She sees me, she's waving, and she starts walking over, kisses me on my head, and she's like, I thought I told you not to eat meat. I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. She was like, okay, just, in the future, just get like a salad or something. I was like, okay. And then she just walked away. That was it. I didn't even get in trouble.
That was a lot of build-up to not that.
I didn't even get in trouble.
I thought she was about to say, put some Roblox sounds in there. Are you kidding me? That's all she said?
That's literally it.
Wow.
Maybe she didn't give me free popcorn that day.
Wow.
But like that was it. And the moral is, I guess if you don't want to live in constant fear, just do the right thing. The story starts when I was in 7th grade. So one of the classes I was enrolled in is video production. I'm in class sitting there and the teacher's like, okay, I'm just gonna do a little fun assignment on the first day. I just kind of want you guys to learn how to use the cameras. So our first assignment is I want you to pair up and film like a little dance video using the cameras. So basically she's like, all right, everyone, pair up with a friend, whatever. And so I didn't know anyone in the class at the time. So everyone paired up and I was just kind of sitting there alone like,
oh man,
oh, no one wants to dance with me.
That's sad.
And it was really embarrassing because she was like, hey, well, Adam, I see you don't have a partner. And she was like, oh, why don't you pair up with Anna? I was like, oh, who's Anna? And Anna was this girl that was actually a year older. She was in 8th grade. Oh. It was a class that had both 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, man. Hey, you gotta be careful, man. This reminds me of X, man. Be careful.
He was like, oh, why don't you partner up with Anna? I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, hi, I'm Adam. She's like, hi, I'm Anna. And at first, I did not have a crush on her.
What?
I know. You assume.
But then I realized she was a girl, and instantly I fell in love.
No.
Is that what you're gonna say?
No, because she was a year older, and honestly, I thought that she was kind of like scary. I thought she was gonna be like mean, because like I was like, oh, she's like an 8th grader, like she's so like old, and like I don't want to like talk to her.
Yeah.
So we go to like film this dance video.
This is probably what happened. Adam gives her the camera. He's like all scared. The camera's all sweaty, and he's like, okay, ready, set, go. Just start doing something real cringe. And it's like,
So up until this point, I was like super shy. I was really embarrassed. Anna sets up the camera. She turns it on. She's like, okay, let's dance. I'm like, okay. So we're both in front of the camera, like dancing, and I'm like not really into it. I'm kind of like shy and nervous. And Anna was like really into it. She was like dancing like crazy and like having a lot of fun and laughing. The video turned out awesome.
oh, wow.
It was so much fun, and we immediately just became friends. It was like an instant connection. One day came where I was just like, I definitely like Anna.
Why?
I was just sitting in class and I was like, okay, we're already really good friends. Like, she clearly finds me funny. We hang out all the time.
Oh, and I was I think I'm catching feelings.
True though, I was like, I definitely am catching feelings for this girl.
Your life is literally a TikTok meme.
But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to ruin one of the best friendships I have.
True.
Like, what if I tell her I like her, and then she's like, you go away, and then it like ruins everything.
Yeah, that's scary.
So I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, I gotta tell her.
Oh, man.
And so I texted her one day. I was like, hey, Anna, like, you know, it's always so much fun, like, hanging out with you. I'll be honest, like, I really like you. And for the first time, she actually said, I like you back.
Oh,
yeah.
No way.
Normally girls in my old stories just reject me, but Anna actually liked me back.
No way. Your first story, you said a note, and the other girl sent one back that says, I like you back. Apparently, you're very slick at sliding in these DMs, Adam.
So I texted Anna that I liked her, and she said she liked me back, and I was so happy. I was like, this is perfect. I met a girl in video class. She likes video. I like video. I like her. She likes me. This is amazing.
Wow.
So we were like, okay, let's go on our first date. And so I remember this, it was a Friday night. And I was like, all right, here we go, first date, this is gonna be awesome. I was like, let's go to the movies, because we both like videos, right?
True, it's big brain.
Yeah.
Big brain.
So I couldn't drive at that point, because obviously I was in 7th grade. So my mom dropped me off at the theater, her mom dropped her off, and we go into the theater. And so we get our popcorn, we're like sitting in the movie theater as the trailers go, and Anna kind of leans over and she's like, hey, like, are you kind of excited for our first kiss tonight? And I was like, wait. Because at this point, I did not think I was gonna kiss her for at least like another year.
At least another decade.
At this time, I was like, yeah, I'm really excited. But in my head, I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. I've never, ever kissed a girl before. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. I started panicking. So there I am watching the movie, just slowly getting more and more sweaty as I'm just watching and like prepping in my head.
You were like, hey, Anna, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. And then you did that thing where you went in the bathroom and kissed yourself in the mirror. Trying to practice. Trying to get some last minute practice.
The movie's over. I'm like, okay, in my head, we kind of wait for people to leave the theater. I'm like, okay, are we gonna kiss now? Or are we gonna do this outside the theater? Like, do I lean in? Is she gonna start the kiss? Like, I was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, man.
So we actually ended up getting up. We didn't kiss. We just went outside the theater. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and there was no one outside the theater.
Oh,
we were in the dark.
Oh.
And so she kind of like, we're both just kind of standing there awkwardly, like looking at each other.
Yeah.
Because I think we both were hoping the other person would do something.
Yeah.
And eventually she just kind of like leans next to me and kind of like rests her head on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like hug her. I was like, okay, well, I guess this is it. I guess this is where my first kiss will be. So I kind of like put my hands on her shoulders, and she's like looking at me, I'm looking at her. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I start to lean in, and then I actually missed. I kissed her nose. Because I closed my eyes. I just went in fully blind because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. But I guess I closed my eyes too soon because like I just
Dude,
missed.
you're so cringe. How is this possible?
But it gets, don't worry. Don't worry, because she's like, she kind of like laughed. She thought it was kind of cute. She's like, oh, it's okay. Like, we can try again. I was like, okay, here we go.
I don't know if I can handle this again. Hearing about this again.
You can't handle the cringe?
It's too cringe, man.
Basically, she's like, okay, she kind of like cute and laugh, and she's like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's dark out, like whatever. Because she knew it was my first kiss. She's like, okay, we can try again. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm not gonna miss this time. So I go in, and I basically like, put my lips on hers, and then just freeze. It was as if my entire mind just went blank, and it was just like this. Just nothing. Just frozen for like 5 seconds, and then I go back.
That's how my brain feels right now. I'm blacking out. It's too much cringe.
And then she said to me, she told me, after we pulled away from the kiss, I was like, wow, that was kind of crazy. And she was like, honestly, that was the worst kiss I've ever had. I will remember those words to the day I die.
There's no way. She said that to you?
Yeah.
Why? Why would she say that?
She just thought it was really boring.
That's so mean though.
After she tells me that, I had texted my mom earlier in the theater. I was like, hey, the movie's over, like come get me. So we had like 15 minutes until my mom got there. So like that's when the kiss happened.
Right.
And so the kiss just ended, and then my mom just pulls up. She's like, hey, I'm here, like come get in.
She just vaporized out of nowhere.
It was literally like that. I was like, that was really good timing.
Wow.
So I get in the car, I'm like, okay, bye Anna. And like on the drive home, she was like, how did that go? I was like, how did what go?
Huh?
And she was like, oh, I saw that you guys were like trying to kiss, so I was just like sitting in the parking lot waiting for you guys to finish. She was like just driving in circles.
Stop, dude.
You resuscitated?
Stop, dude. This is too much cringe. They are not happy. They are not happy. Stop, dude. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Your mom was just cruising around the block being like, that's my son. I'm gonna lay him
She was literally doing circles in the parking lot. Well, when she first picked me up, I was like, wow, like she came at the perfect time, like just after the kiss finished. Like I'm glad she didn't see that. But she actually did see it. Now, the good news is my mom felt pretty bad because I kind of told her like the date did not go well. And there was like this ice cream place next to the mall where we watched the movie, so we just got ice cream.
Oh.
And that's how it ended. Like we got ice cream.
That's nice.
Me and Anna, our friendship kind of fizzled out, unfortunately. Like we went back to being friends for a little bit, and then it kind of like died out.
Don't even bother.
Yeah,
She toxic.
It's just me and my mom again.
I'm gonna tell you about one time I literally got knocked out from how cringy a school dance was.
Okay.
It was crazy. Now this story takes place in freshman year of high school. So you know, I was trying to be a little bit cooler at that point. Now in my previous stories, I said middle school just didn't go to school dances. I said that's not for me. Well in high school, you know, I wanted to make some friends. You know, I started thinking about, okay, how am I gonna get seen by the ladies? You know? Okay. I was in high school and there was a dance coming up, which when you really think about school dances, the whole premise, even in high school, is a little bit cringe because even at like a prom or whatever, there's like chaperones, which are like your teachers. Like think about how cringe that is. Like they see you like dancing like, hey.
And one of the parents is over here
and then you have to see those people the next day at school. Like that's cringe. I've been to a few dances where I was getting known, you know, in the scene, okay? And I had started to come up with a plan, you know, because there were certain things I noticed about school dances, okay? The first thing, the big thing is that all the kids basically end up coalescing into like a circle, like a dance circle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then there's always that one moment that I really did not like, where the kids throw you in the middle of the dance circle. And then suddenly there's like 200 kids watching
And
you.
there's all this pressure to like do some sick dance move.
That's what I mean. And you know, I mean, Adam apparently is a dance legend, so he probably looked good in the middle of that circle. Me, on the other hand, I hated being in the middle of that circle. That's like my worst fear. Because then everybody's staring at me. I don't know how to dance.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless I go like, which I had not yet learned that move. I was there. I was like, I don't want to look like an idiot in front of all these people, in front of all the ladies, okay, and all the teachers, because they're gonna see me next day and be like, this kid's an idiot, okay? So I decided I had a friend back then named Carly. Now Carly is a very short, very feisty person, okay? She was like very energetic and she was very, very popular at school. So I was like, I got an idea. Because me and Carly were kind of friends. I went up to her, I said, Carly, at the next dance, if I get pushed in the middle of the dance circle, I'm gonna do some cool move where I point to you. Yeah! I point to you and you're gonna join me in the dance circle. So I was like, you know, I was prepared.
So you had like a backup plan.
I had a backup plan. Like, if she joins me, everyone will watch Carly because she's pretty and fun and good at dancing, and I'll just kind of stand there and do this. Okay, so I'll remove myself from the cringe situation. So the big day shows up. Okay, it's the next dance. You know, you know, I'm looking good. You know, the ladies be rolling up on me. You know, so we're in the dance circle. Everybody's getting into the circle together. We're all dancing, you know, hey. And then the big moment comes. So there's the dance circle. There's people in the middle who are actually good at dancing. I'm like, oh, bruh, I can't compete here. But then I feel it. I feel the hand on my back pushing me in. Ah! Suddenly, there's 200 people. The beat's going, and I am there alone in the middle of the dance circle. I'm thinking I gotta act quick. I do my move, I find Carly, I point to her, I say, come on in, and then the crowd's like, oh, because it's like two people in the middle now, okay? Now Carly, when I said that she was short and feisty earlier, I think the only way to describe Carly accurately is a firecracker. She's like an actual explosive, okay? She gets in the middle and starts doing a dance I've never seen before. Just like this. It was a little bit scary, but the crowd's like, oh, everybody's freaking out. We're looking good. And then out of nowhere, I cannot make this up. This really happened. Carly hits me with one of these. An elbow connects straight with my forehead. I was knocked out cold. I just slumped over. And next thing I knew, I woke up. I was on the sidelines of the dance. I had an ice pack on my head, and I was sat next to all the teachers. They said, Justin, you're not allowed back on the dance floor. You gotta sit with us till you heal.
Wait, what, did Carly like feel bad?
I don't really know. I never really talked to her after that. I got knocked out in the middle of a dance circle.
Wait, but did it end up looking like really cool? Like people were like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He literally danced so hard he got knocked out? Or people just like cringy?
I don't really know what people thought, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty cringe because I literally got knocked out by the cringe.
Now, that kind of leads into my story. Now, basically, my story involves a school dance, but it doesn't actually involve the dance. It involves the leading up to the dance, the asking of someone out. I was, I believe, in 10th grade, and there was a girl who I was just friends with named Emma. Now, at this time, I wasn't dating anyone. I actually didn't even have a crush on anyone. Like, there was no one I liked. And so, this...
Why you say it like that?
What?
Oh, you know, at the time, I was single, you know. You always single. What you mean at the time?
And so, I had this really good friend at the time named Emma. And we've been friends since, like, middle school. Like, we were always just, like, really close. But we never, like, found each other attractive or anything. Like, we never caught feelings. We were just actually friends. Now, Emma didn't have a date to the dance. And I didn't like anyone that I was gonna ask. So I was like, oh, I could just ask Emma and we'll just go as friends.
Yeah.
Now there's basically a few very popular ways to ask a girl out to a dance.
Naturally.
Like ranging from like the lamest to the coolest. On the lame end, you have like texting her, like Facebook messaging her, whatever. In the middle, you got like holding up a sign being like, you wanna go to prom with me? But on the cool side, you got like the crazy ideas. And I was like, I got nothing to lose. Like, she's gonna say yes because we're homies. Like, I might as well just go for the crazy option.
No, why would you do a crazy option and ask a friend to a dance?
Because I thought it would be cool.
That's not how that works.
It's like practice. I was watching some romantic movies. I was like, I gotta do something like this. Now, I had this great idea. Now, have you ever seen that really, like, cliche scene in the movie where the guy, like, holds a boombox over his head and plays music and, like, asks a girl out?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
so I was like, okay, I had it in my plan where I was gonna go to her house at night and like play some crazy loud romantic music and ask her to the dance. So that was my plan, right? The day comes.
Yeah.
It's like 8 p.m. I'm like, all right, here we go. I got some flowers in my passenger seat. I'm driving to her place. I'm like, okay, what song should I play? Okay, what should I say? This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I pull up to her house, load up my song on my iPod, connect it, start to turn up the music real loud, some like romantic piano music.
What was the song? Do you remember?
I think I just typed into YouTube like romantic song and then I just pressed the first one.
Wow, you really put a lot of thought into this one.
Well, what music should I play?
You should play that song 1,000 Miles. You know, by Vanessa Carlton. Yeah.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
And literally, it was like perfect timing. Like it started to rain, just like in those romantic movies. I was like, oh, this timing's perfect.
Just like in the horror movies. What you mean?
So I get out of the car, it's raining, I got the music blasting, so I have a sign, I go up to her house, I'm like, Emma! Because I was gonna call her out and like she would see me in the window. I was like, Emma, will you go to prom with me? And then it was like a couple minutes went by. I was like, Emma, will you go to prom with me? Like the song was already over, it's on to the next one. And eventually like her mom came to the front door and she was like, oh, hi Adam, Emma's actually not home right now. I think she had like volleyball practice or something. But she was like, yeah, she should be home in like 10 minutes. Do you want to like redo it? I was like, okay.
redo.
A little swing and a miss. It wasn't actually that cringe. I was like, okay. She was like, yeah, she'll be home in like maybe a little bit. Like, you want to like come inside? Because it's pretty cold outside. I was like, I'll just wait in my car. Eventually, Emma does come home. Like, I kind of like drove around the corner so she wouldn't see me. I ended up doing the exact same thing again. I turned up the music. I was like, Emma! And she did end up saying yes. Like, it went well. But there was a 10-minute span there where she was just not there and I was just sitting in my car. And I was just, is this the most cringy thing I've ever done? Now, these are gonna be stories about when we got in a lot of trouble. I'm a start. So when I was growing up, when I was like 5 years old, I loved video games. However, my parents did not want me playing them. They were like, we would rather you play outside with friends. So they didn't even allow me to have video. What?
Outside with friends? So you just didn't do anything, did you?
No.
Everybody knows you ain't got no friends.
No, that's now. Back then I had friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Basically, my parents were like, we don't want you playing video games. We're not gonna buy you anything. But I really wanted to play video games.
Okay.
So my first ever video game console was a Game Boy Color. Now I'm in 5th grade and my parents, I was like, please, 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 can I have some video games? They were like, okay. We're gonna give you a Nintendo GameCube.
That's pretty good.
Now my mind was literally blown. But they were like, okay, here's a Nintendo GameCube. Here's like Super Smash Brothers. Here's some Mario games. But you can only play this 1 hour a week. That's it. 1 hour. Literally.
I thought you were gonna say 1 hour a day.
No.
A week.
No, they were like, you have to tell us when you want to play and we'll like let you for an hour and then that's it. You cannot play it.
Dude, your parents are so sad. I would be like, if you came in and said, Justin, I'm gonna give you this tray of cookies. You can have 1 nibble per year. That is cruel.
So I literally plan out like, okay, I want to play Mario for this like 15 minutes, like maybe like Super Smash Brothers for like 30 minutes. I would plan out like weeks in advance when I'm gonna use that hour. Now, my parents were very, very strict, obviously, about me playing video games, but they were also very strict about what type of games I could play. It had to be rated E. Like, they didn't want any type of violent games going into my brain.
Yeah, true.
And so I was having a friend over once, and he was like, oh, do you want to play some video games? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, let's play Call of Duty. For those of you that don't know, Call of Duty is definitely a more violent game.
Sure.
Right? And my parents would not allow me to play that.
Yeah.
And so he was like, oh, I want to play Call of Duty. I'm like, oh, I don't own that. Like, my mom won't let me play that game.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go home then. Like, he literally was like, I only want to play Call of Duty, and if we're not gonna play that, I'm just gonna leave.
Dude, he straight up used you.
Yeah.
Dang.
Dude, I literally felt so sad. I was like, well, I can't play Call of Duty. Like, do you want to play, like, Pokemon or something? And he was like, nah, I'm just gonna go home. After my friend left, I asked my mom, I don't know why I even thought this was a good idea, but I was like, Mom, can I please get Call of Duty? And she was like, no, obviously not. I'm not gonna let you play these violent games.
Wow.
So I was like, wait a minute.
I bet there are online games that are similar to Call of Duty. So I went to my computer, I searched like free shooting games. I clicked on the first one, I created an account, I started to play it, and the game was like super low quality, a bunch of like pop-ups appeared. I'm pretty sure my computer got a virus.
10,000 pop-ups appear. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna close out of this. Like, this is a bad idea. I don't know, whatever. Like, okay, I still don't have Call of Duty, and now I think my computer has a virus. Great. The next day comes. I go to school. My friend's like, hey, did you get Call of Duty? I was like, no, man. Like, I tried, but it's not gonna work. The school day ends. My mom comes to pick me up from school.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, what's up, Mom? Silence. Now, normally, on my way home from school, me and my mom talk, oh, how was your day? Whatever. Silence.
Gotta catch up with your only friend. Yeah.
So, I can tell something's off. I was like, hey, how's your day? Nothing. Just real tense. So the whole way home, I'm like, what's going on? We make it home. She opens the garage door, pulls in the car. I literally cannot make this up. She was sitting there.
Yeah.
I was like, should we get out of the car? Just sitting there. And she was like, so Adam, do you feel guilty about anything? And I was just sitting there like, huh? And then she was like, I asked you a question. Is there anything that you feel guilty about? I was like, no. And she was like,
I got an email today from a violent video game site saying you tried to create an account there to play their game.
Oh, man.
And she was like,
oh, man.
were you playing violent video games? And my mom was like, I can't believe you lied to me.
Wow.
If you keep up this bad behavior,
you could go to jail if you keep doing this.
And you did go to jail, didn't you?
No.
Are you sure?
Luckily, I did not go to jail. However, I felt like I was in jail. Like the next 2 weeks, I was in so much trouble. That was the most trouble I ever got in as a kid.
Now, you got in trouble with your mom. I got in trouble with the law.
No way.
You already know. Back in middle school, me and my good friend James had a ploy, and there was this like scary movie coming out in like a week. And we were like, oh man, we will be the coolest kids at school if we got to go see this scary movie, and then we could come back to school and tell all the other kids like, oh, dude, we saw this crazy movie.
So it was like rated R, like they don't let people under the age of a certain amount go in?
Oh, of course it's rated R. It was rated like super R.
Oh.
It's a super scary movie.
So you were not gonna be allowed to get in?
No, there's no way. We were saying, how can we get into this movie and watch it before everybody else? Because, I mean, the age difference was huge. Like, there's no way we're allowed to get in. And we look like toddlers. Okay, we were sitting at lunch, you know, eating some sandwiches, and we had a scheme. We said, okay, what if we go to the movies together and we buy a ticket to like a G-rated movie, and then we do the good old switcheroo and we walk into the R-rated movie and watch it. We decide, okay, it's gonna be lit. We're gonna do that this Friday night. James's mom drives us to the theater. You know, we in the back seat eating more sandwiches. Yeah, we get dropped off. James's mom says, all right, guys, time to leave. Time to go enjoy your Disney movie. Cause she thought we were gonna go watch a Disney movie. We even fooled her. And we say, all right, thank you, appreciate it. We hop out. As we're hopping out, she goes, wait a minute. You guys are gonna go see a Disney movie. James's little sister, who was literally like 8, a little kid. She was like, I want to see the Disney movie.
Oh,
and the mom was like, okay, just take her with you.
No.
I was like, oh, no problem. Let's just take her with us. No problem. So we give us 3 tickets to the new Disney movie. Yeah, we get them. We walk straight into the theater, and then this is the moment of truth. I see the Disney movie that we bought the tickets for on one side, and then I see the super violent R-rated horror movie on the other side. I say, Justy, this right here is a defining moment in your life. What you do right now will affect you, your police record, probably. So you know what I did? I walked straight to that R-rated movie. As we were sitting there, the lights get dimmer. I'm like, oh man, we pulled it off, boy.
Yeah.
Let's go, boy. Boy. And then some trailers start playing. So now, you know, if you go to a G-rated movie, the trailers they play are similar to the movie you're about to watch. Like, if you watch a Disney movie, they're gonna play you other, like, Disney trailers. We were in an R-rated horror movie, so the trailers that started to play were very scary and violent. So I'm sitting there, getting a little bit nervous, because I'm already terrified of the trailers. I look around, out of the corner of my eye, I see that there's one of those movie theater people with, like, the wand, like the glowing wand, you know, like the flashlight. And they're going through and checking everybody's ticket. So as the people are about halfway up the theater and they're getting close to us, well, the movie actually starts. At the very start of the movie, this person jumps out like in a mask and attacks somebody. And then immediately, James's little sister, who has only now caught wind of what has transpired, starts to cry. She starts sobbing in the theater. Okay, so everybody's like, what? How did these little toddlers get in this movie theater? So we grab the snacks, grab the soda, I'm out. We book it straight out the theater. The attendants are coming after us with their flashlights. We run straight into the G-rated movie. The attendants catch up to us. They say, did I see you kids just leave an R-rated movie? I said, no, you did not. I'm just here to watch a G-rated movie. And me and James had to sit there and watch the entire movie.
So nothing bad happened?
Something terrible almost happened, Adam.
What?
I almost dropped my popcorn. This is the story of the most embarrassing day of my life.
Okay.
Now, this story takes place back in middle school. Now, you already know a lot of embarrassing things happen at that age. You know, middle school's an awkward time. I was a very awkward kid, okay?
What?
Still am now, but I was even more cringe, more awkward back then.
How could you possibly get more cringe than we already are now?
I don't know if you could even imagine that. Basically, this whole story revolves around something we all know and love. Actually, something we all know and hate. Group projects at school. Oh,
dude,
man.
Anytime the teacher is like, all right, guys, pair up for a group project, I hate it.
You are immediately in trouble because y'all know we don't have any friends. Nobody's grouping up with us. And also, this story involves a girl. Got some romance? This story about to get crazy. This story takes place in middle school art class.
Okay.
So in art class, everybody gets assigned to a different table. You don't get to choose where you sit.
Okay.
Okay, my table was 3 people. It was me and 2 other boys. Now, we were randomly assigned our table mates, and these 2 kids, okay, one of them, literally, everyone at school referred to this kid as Danger Dan. This guy was the original bad boy.
Wait. Danger Dan?
Oh, Danger Dan?
What did people call you? Juicy Justin?
Everyone called him Danger Dan because he was very scary, very aggressive. He was like very large, like tall and large at a young age. And he had actually been suspended once before because he got in a fight with some other students.
Okay.
So Danger Dan was like really quiet. He always looked very intense.
Yeah.
And he just kind of sat in the corner. He was very scary. Okay. And the other kid, we had Danger Dan, and the other kid, his name was Willis. Dude, This was the most cringe art table of all time. You got Justy, you got Danger Dan, and you got Willis. And Willis is really one of the centerpieces of this story. Now, Willis was a very awkward kid, very shy, just like me, except a little bit less cringe. He was just very quiet, like a very reserved kid. Okay. So now the art teacher comes in and says, okay, we're gonna have our final project before break. Everybody needs to get in random groups based on your table and do this together. I said, what? I gotta work with Danger Dan and Willis? Why? This art teacher did not like our table. She's like, these kids are troublemakers. 2 of them are very cringe, and 1 of them is a troublemaker. Okay. She didn't like us. Dude, I could not make this up. She literally split up the art studio because like all the groups need a place to work. She gave our table to another group. She put us in a closet. Like, I could not make this up. It was a dark, musty closet where all the art supplies were. And she's like working there. There's no windows. There's nothing in there.
What was the project that you guys had to do together?
We just had to make some sort of art project and then present it in front of the class.
Okay.
The group project was not off to a good start. Okay, I'm gonna say for about the first 3 days, nobody said anything in that closet. We just sat there.
Just looking at each other.
Dude, I remember this to this day. Danger Dan was sitting there and he would take pencils from the art supplies because we're in the supply closet and he would just break all of them. Like, who does that?
And you and Willis are just watching him.
I was terrified. I said, get me out of here. A few days go by and we got a couple weeks to put this together. I'm like, it is crunch time. I cannot let my grades slip because I have a big brain. I gotta do well in school. Okay. I said, I gotta make a play. I gotta do something. I gotta break the ice. We're wasting too much time.
You're gonna save this group project.
It's like an anime, like a sports team anime. I gotta come in and unite everybody because these 2 kids clearly don't care about their grades and we need to do well. So one day I go to class, I'm determined to make a change. I'm still scared of Danger Dan because he's still there snapping pencils, not talking. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go try and talk to Willis. So I go up to Willis, just introduce myself, try to get a conversation going. It's very awkward, but we actually connect because I learned that Willis likes to play chess.
Okay.
And awkward, nerdy, middle school Justy is a chess master. Okay, I went to all the tournaments. I'm bringing home the trophies. So Willis likes to play chess. So what we actually do is we use some of the art supplies and we painted like a chessboard and we used to play chess together in the closet.
You made your own chessboard?
We had nothing else to do. So a few days go by, things are getting better, and Danger Dan starts to open up a little bit too. He starts to watch us play. He's very interested in what's going on.
He probably just ran out of pencils since then.
He's like, I'm gonna stab you guys next. So I start to connect a little bit with Danger Dan. Also, I find out he likes to play video games online.
Okay.
And again, awkward, nerdy, middle school Justy is playing lots of online video games. Now, I like to play Maple Story, some fun stuff.
Some Club Penguins.
Why you gotta expose me? Just because I got 50 Club Penguin accounts. So Danger Dan likes to play some older, like some violent games, online. And he used to teach me, share tips. And we would actually go home from school and we would play together online.
Okay.
So I started to be friends with Willis and friends with Danger Dan through our nerdy hobbies.
This is going great.
Yes, it was going great. And soon it was literally fun to go to art class.
Yeah.
So we just gonna hang out in a closet unsupervised, just chill.
Yeah.
A few days go by and I say, all right, guys, gotta get a team huddle in here. Guys, we need to make some sort of project. My life hinges on getting a good grade in middle school art class. We had all connected now. We felt closer to each other and Willis opened up to us. This left me shook. So there was this girl in art class. Her name was Isabel. She was very pretty. She was a very nice girl. One of the popular girls, definitely out of the league of me, Willis, and Danger Dan.
Okay, well that's not saying much because every girl is out of your league.
Oh yeah. None of them are out of yours, right? Because your neck is so long. Weird flex, but okay. So Isabel was definitely one of the cooler kids. Really pretty, really nice. I kind of knew her. Like I had like spoken to her a few times. But like Willis and Danger Dan had never said anything to her in their lives. Well, Danger Dan just didn't talk to people, but Willis was really shy. Like he was really shy. To set this up, there was in a couple of weeks a school dance. There was like a homecoming type dance. Okay. And so in this team huddle, Willis, like some sort of action movie hero, says, guys, I have a crush on Isabel. And you know what, guys? I feel empowered because now I have you two as my first friends. I think we should make it our project. We're gonna present this in front of the class. It should be a way for me to ask Isabel to the dance. Dude, Willis stepped up.
Oh my gosh, that's so creative.
Willis smart. I was like, dude, you're a genius. Let's do it.
Okay, so you and Danger Dan were basically now his like wingmen?
Yes. Me and Danger Dan had all figured out Willis, Isabel gonna get married. Let's go. We're thinking real hard. For the next couple days, we're just thinking, we're brainstorming. We're drawing up this schematics.
Now, had Willis talked to Isabel at all?
No, never. Never in his life.
So this was gonna be like his first time talking?
Dude, he's gonna boss up, dude.
Okay.
He's just gonna go in. Now, at this point in my life, I had another hobby, another passion, making videos.
Okay.
So, in art class, they had like these really old school camcorders. So they had like these camcorders that we could borrow, right? And so I was like, dude, what if we made like an action movie and presented, like showed it in front of the class, and at the end, you ask her out to the dance.
Dude.
I was like, dude, everybody else in class playing checkers, the three of us playing chess. Okay, we got a big brain. This gonna work.
So you're gonna make a movie where Willis is the action star, and at the end of beating everyone up, he's like, hey, by the way, Isabel, do you want to date me?
That is exactly what it was. I still remember to this day, this plot was that Willis would play a spy, and he has a secret message he's got to deliver. And you already know what that secret message is.
I love you?
The secret message was, Isabel, will you go to the dance with me? So our team was so hyped. We were like, dude, this is the most 900 IQ play of all time. We're gonna get the girl, and more importantly, we're gonna get A's. Okay? So for the next few days, we go outside. Dude, this was so epic. They came to school with costumes. I came with the camera, right? I was behind the camera directing. We had like fight scenes where like Spy Willis had to fight Danger Dan, and like
over and over again.
Dude, he looked so tough because Danger Dan was huge and everyone was terrified of him.
Breaking pencils in the action scene.
This story gonna make it sound like I had a crazy childhood, but somehow Danger Dan brought like a real sword. Like he brought like a ninja sword to school, like a real one, and we used it in the movie. I don't know how.
Dangerous.
He's Danger Dan. So we finished filming. I honestly remember, like, I was so hyped about all this, right? Like, this story's amazing. It's like a real anime. We united 3 people who didn't know each other, didn't like each other. We found out this guy likes this girl. We made this movie, right? I stayed up multiple nights in a row editing this video. This was such a fun project. At the end of the day, I was like, dude, this is amazing. And then the movie's done. The big day arrives.
The final project?
The final presentation day arrives. The 3 of us roll up, you know, stride out of the closet. Okay.
Got the flash drive.
Got the USB.
They're not gonna know I hit him.
No, put this on the big screen. So we got it up on the projector. All the other groups present, you know, some kids like, I made a sculpture, I made a clay pot, whatever.
You're just in the background laughing.
Then it's our turn. We put it on and we hit play. That action movie starts. We got some spy music going on. Willis comes out and says, I have been given a secret message to deliver.
Dude.
The fight scene goes down. It's crazy. Now, I'm gonna put a little pause in this story right now. So far, right? So far, this whole plan just sounds amazing.
This sounds epic.
On paper. On paper.
Oh, no.
This sounds epic.
No, what's gonna happen?
But realize this, Adam.
No.
Like, think for a minute, though. Like, imagine you're sitting in that class. You have to realize how cringe all of this actually is. because like, the whole time, like, It was because we had spent so much time in that closet, we had lost our minds. And like, we're socially awkward kids, so we didn't like have other friends to be like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Hey, by the way, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, nobody was like, dude, don't do that, okay? In the moment, we're like, dude, these scenes are tough, like, this is crazy. But when we were actually just sitting there watching it, about halfway through, I was like...
Sweating a little bit. What did Danger Dan and Willis think while they were watching
I don't really know. I was just staring at the screen. I was trying, because I knew I could feel like the teacher and all the other students staring at us. They're like, who are these cringe kids? So I just stared at the screen. I didn't want to look around. About halfway through the video, I realized, dude, this is probably the most cringe thing that's ever happened in my life. And to make matters worse, I know that in like 2 minutes at the end, he's gonna ask Isabel to the dance. So I start to panic. I say, okay, time for Spy Justy to shine. Could I somehow stop the recording from playing? How do I save this? But ultimately, I did absolutely nothing. And it gets to the end, and like there's some smoke effects.
No.
Willis pops up, having defeated Danger Dan, and says, I have the secret message to deliver.
No.
Isabel, will you go to the dance with me?
That was probably what the room just sounded like. Just silence.
It was silent except for one sound. I cannot make this up. Isabel started crying.
Oh my god.
Dude, Isabel literally started crying and left the class. She just walked out.
Why did she cry?
Because of how cringe it was. She literally cringed into tears. To give her credit, look, Isabel was a very nice girl, and she did actually end up saying yes, because it would have just been like, she can't say no to that. But that's probably why she cried also, because she realized, like, I can't say no at this point. Like, everybody's seen this happen.
She went to homecoming with him as like a pity favor?
Well, she couldn't say no, dude. He literally fought Danger Dan for her with a sword. That was, hands down, the most embarrassing day of my life. At the end of the day, we didn't get Willis the girl. We actually all got C's on that project. That teacher was not amused, okay? But at least on the bright side, we had made friends with each other.
Yeah.
Even though it was cringe, Danger Dan and Willis stayed my friends for a long time after that.
That's awesome.
Hey, we came out of it as friends, you know, we were partners in crime.
This story starts when I was in 5th grade. So when I was growing up, when I was from like a baby to like elementary school, my family had like a dog and a cat, just like normal pets, right?
Okay.
Now, I went to my friend's house one day, and he had a hamster. And he was like, do you wanna like play with my hamster? I was like, what is a hamster? I had never seen a hamster in real life. He brought me over to its cage. He's like, you wanna hold it? I was like, you can hold it? So I hold this hamster. It's like this blonde little cute hamster. It's so adorable. I immediately fell in love. Right when I got home, I was like, oh, mom, please, please, please. Can I have a hamster?
Why do you want to you already have a cat and a dog.
When you were growing up, did you have cats and dogs?
I did not have any pets.
Okay, well.
But if I did, it wouldn't be a hamster.
What would it be?
Maybe a pet donut? I don't know.
I was like, Mom, can we please get a hamster? And she was like, no, hamsters smell bad. I don't want to take care of it. Our cat might eat it. There's no way I'm gonna get you a hamster.
Okay, that's true.
So I was like, oh, I just got so sad. I actually showed my older sister some photos of this hamster. And so me and her were like, let's try and like convince our mom to get us a hamster.
Dude, that's high IQ, because you convinced your sister to want it, and then you guys teamed up to convince your parents.
Exactly, and she was older and a lot smarter than me.
True.
So she actually had the idea. She just got this like old laptop, and she was like, I have the program PowerPoint on my laptop. We can make a PowerPoint presentation like they do in school on like the benefits of owning a hamster and like how awesome they were.
What are the benefits of owning a hamster?
Happiness?
No!
So me and my sister, we get to work on our laptop. I'm like finding photos. She's typing up all this facts about hamsters and like how happy we'd be. It took us like a week. Me and my sister like sit my mom down and we're like, we got something to show you. This is gonna change your mind. We load up the PowerPoint. You know, we're going over our points. Hamsters are soft, they're cuddly. We try and show her videos of the hamsters to try and like trick her brain into loving them. And so we finished this like 30-minute presentation and she's just sitting there. She's like, I'm still not getting you a hamster. I was like, what? I basically I did start crying because I really wanted one. But she was like, you know what, Adam? I know you want this hamster really bad. I'm still not gonna get you a hamster, but I was reading a magazine and I saw an ad for an ant farm. And if you guys don't know what an ant farm is, it's basically like this plastic container. It's like a thin plastic container where you put like sand in and then you put ants. They like make tunnels in the sand and it's kind of like this like ecosystem of ants.
Yeah.
And so she was like, how about instead of a hamster, I get you an ant farm? And I was like, okay.
Dude!
What?
Your mom is actually a genius. You guys got completely bamboozled. That would be like if I was like, hey Adam, I want some cake and some nuggets. And you said, let me meet you in the middle and get you some celery. And you guys were like, okay, cool.
So I was in 5th grade. I didn't have a lot of friends and these ants were so cool. I would watch them for hours just like making little tunnels on the sand. It was really cool. Flash forward a little bit. I go to school one day and I had a friend at the time named Lauren. Now, this was in 5th grade and
Is that a girl?
yeah, she was my actual friend.
You're telling me you made a PowerPoint about hamsters. You had a pet ant farm in your room. And you also had a friend who was a girl.
Yeah?
Are we playing 2 truths and a lie?
I actually had a close friend named Lauren. She was actually really cool. Now, to set this up, in my class in 5th grade, on Fridays, the teacher had this 30-minute period of time called free time.
Oh, free
Where
time.
it was like, you could do whatever you want. You could play computer games, you could hang out with friends. Everyone in the class like looked forward to like, oh, Friday at noon. That's free time for 30 minutes. It's gonna be the best. Normally in our free time, me and Lauren would play Neopets or Club Penguin together. But I was telling her, I was like, hey, by the way, Lauren, I actually have this new pet at home. And she was like, wait, really? I was like, yeah, I could actually bring it to school.
No, you didn't, man. You an idiot.
It was Thursday night. I packed the ant farm in my backpack. Get to school, they're still in my backpack. The teacher's like, okay, I think it's around noon. You guys have free time for 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, here we go. Gonna bring out the ants. And I was sitting next to Lauren and I was like, hey, Lauren, do you want to see them? She's like, yeah. So I open up my backpack. I reach down my hand and I feel sand on the bottom of my backpack.
Oh, no.
The ant farm had tipped upside down and all the sand and ants had fallen out in my backpack. I was like panicking. I was like, okay, what do I do? And I realized that there's ants all over the floor of where my backpack is because it had been like 3 hours since I brought them to school and I didn't notice them. So there's just ants everywhere on the floor.
You're like, no, my only friend.
So I start panicking. I couldn't hide it because Lauren was like, she already knew about the ant farm. So I'm like, Lauren, like, I dropped all these ants on the floor. Like, I need help. She was like, I don't know what to do. In my head, I thought that if the ants spread far enough, the entire school would become infested with ants and they would like reproduce and everyone would know it was me and I would get expelled. I was like, I need to get these ants off this floor before anyone finds out. So I had a genius idea. In my lunchbox that day, because my mom packed my lunch, I actually had a banana. So I was like, wait a minute, ants love sweet foods. They love sugary foods. If I cut a part of a banana off and put it on the ground and wait a little bit, all the ants will gather to the banana, and then I can just scoop them up and put them back in the backpack.
That's actually high IQ.
Right?
That's actually smart.
Dude, I was panicking.
Yeah.
That was like the best idea I had.
Yeah.
So I was like real sneaky. There was like 10 minutes left of free time. I'm like cutting this banana. I put it on the ground next to me, just hoping that they all start crawling back to the banana.
How far had they spread from the
It was
backpack?
probably like a 10-foot radius around me. They were like everywhere. And I was like just waiting there, just sitting and
You're
sweating.
just sitting there and being like, oh, I wish I got that hamster. Oh.
The teacher's like, all right, guys, free time is over. We're gonna move on to mathematics. How the classroom worked was there was like the front board, but the math section was over by my side of the classroom. So he was like, all right, everyone, let's gather around on this side of the classroom.
No.
And we'll go over math.
No.
So all the kids come over and sit on the floor. And so I'm just sitting there praying that A, no one steps on my pet. I don't want them to die. Or B, that anyone finds out about them. So the teacher walks over to my side of the classroom. All the kids gather around. He starts being like, all right, let's do some math. 7 times 5, okay. And then one of the kids, it was like some girl in the class. And she was like, oh my gosh, I think there's ants all over the floor. And I was like, my cover is blown.
Dude, my anxiety level right now is so high.
And all the kids looked around because they were all in the section that the ants were. And they were like, oh my gosh, there's ants everywhere. Because there was literally hundreds on the floor. And my plan had not worked.
Adam in the corner trying to bury himself in the sand to hide. He's like, I'm not here, guys.
I thought that if they found out it was me, I would actually get expelled. Up until this point, the only person that knew I had an ant farm was Lauren. I hadn't told anyone else.
Lauren about to sell you out.
So the teacher was like, everyone, let's stand up. Does anyone know where all these ants came from?
Oh, no.
And so I'm sitting there praying that no one looks at me, no one notices that I'm beet red and sweating.
Don't tell me that Lauren sold you out. No.
Now, he's like, I'm gonna ask again. Does anyone know where all these ants came from? And I'm sitting there, I kind of like look over at Lauren. I was hoping that she was a real one, that she wouldn't snitch on me. The teacher asked one final time, he was like, does anyone know where these ants came from? And I'd never seen him this serious. And Lauren actually started to raise her hand. And she was like, I think I know where they came from. And Lauren kind of looked over at me a little bit. She's like, yeah, I think that someone accidentally left a banana on the floor and all the ants might have came in from the outside. And the teacher's like, really? And then he looked down and there was a bunch of ants surrounding the banana. And so I got off the hook because he's like, oh, it's just an accident. Someone just left a banana in here and somehow all these ants got in. She actually covered for me.
Your teacher was an idiot. He didn't notice the sand. He didn't notice Adam McSweaty inside covered in sand.
No, Lauren was the actual homie. I don't know how she came up with that so fast. But like she came up with a story that actually made sense, but didn't like get me in trouble. And so basically what the teacher did was he picked up this banana, which had basically all the ants on it. And
Dude, your plan actually worked.
It actually worked. He took the banana and just tossed it in the garbage.
He threw your friends in the garbage.
Yeah, 30 minutes go by. Math finishes, all the kids return back to their seats. And I like sneakily go over to the trash can and take the bag out.
No, you
and like
didn't.
rescue my friends. I like take the bag and shove it in my backpack. And then like sneakily put all the ants back in their cage.
Okay, let me rewind. Little YouTube rewind action. First off, you wanted a hamster.
Yeah.
Then you made a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Then your mom bamboozled you into getting an ant farm.
Yeah.
Then you befriend a woman named Lauren.
Yeah.
Who covers for you.
Yeah.
Your teacher somehow believes that all these ants were attracted to one banana on the ground.
Yeah.
I only got one thing to say, Adam.
What?
This would not have happened if you had a pet donut. I'm gonna be telling a very serious story about how I was in a relationship and how Roblox ruined that relationship. I would be married right now if it wasn't for Roblox. Came in and ruined my life.
Roblox blocked your love life.
Roblox! I will start off this story by saying this happened to me early on in high school, okay? And as I mentioned in our first job animation, I used to be a lifeguard because I was a swimmer,
right?
Okay? So in high school, I was on the team. You know, I was on the swim team, you know, acting all cool and stuff. I was on track to become the captain of the team. I was fast, I was friendly, people liked me, okay? I looked real nice in that Speedo, okay? I had career aspirations. I'm gonna be the captain of the team. When I'm a senior, it's gonna be great. But there was one thing holding me back. Would you like to guess what it is?
Roblox?
And I'll tell you how. I have an addictive personality. Okay, like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go all in. You know, like if there's a box of donuts in front of me,
You're not gonna have just one.
I'm eating all of them for sure. So I was swimming, I was going to school, but when I got home, I would still play video games. I was not playing Roblox at the beginning. Okay. Now everything changed when at one swim meet. So at the swim meets, you compete as a school against another school, right?
Right.
At one meet, I met this girl. My friend introduced me to her friend who went to a different school, and this girl's name was Maddie.
Was Maddie like on the other school swim team?
Yeah, she was a swimmer. Yeah. I ended up dating Maddie. Now, I'm not gonna get into how that happened because that is irrelevant. The whole story takes place after. Now, Maddie was a very nice girl, a very fast swimmer, a very good student. The problem, however, was, as I said, this happened at the beginning of high school. So back then, I'm not able to drive. Okay, like freshman high school, you don't know how to drive. So Maddie went to a different school than me. So that's the problem because I'm not gonna see her all the time.
Right, you only normally get to see her on like the weekends or something.
So I'm not even then because how are we gonna meet up? Like take a bus or walk or something? It was basically a long distance relationship even though she's like 2 miles away.
Right.
Okay? We had to keep coming up with activities to do to like keep in touch.
Right.
You know, because otherwise like you like FaceTime somebody is kind of like, how's your day?
Right.
Pretty good.
You gotta find an activity that you guys can do together, but doesn't require both of you to be together.
Exactly, and guess what that activity was, Adam? I'll give you one guess. So, Maddie had a little brother named Sam. Now, Sam was a very, very smart kid. I like straight up, he was actually super smart. I still remember his parents, and I will get into his parents in a second. His parents, like, gave him a small amount of money, and he, like, invested it in stocks, and he made them a bunch of money.
And this kid's in middle school?
Kid, yeah, he's like a kid. That's where I got all my stonk trading tips. Maddie and Sam's parents were very, well, I didn't interact with their dad very much, but their mom was very, very strict. Like, she was always, like, watching over them and just, like, strict in general as a parent, which was good. She was trying to keep Maddie and Sam on the path to success. To give you an example of how controlling this mom was, and not in a bad way, I remember Maddie told me one time, every time it was cold, like the winter, she had to, like, huddle under all these blankets because her mom wouldn't let her turn on the heat in the house. Because her mom was like, you gotta save money. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, she's like one of those moms. Like, that's fine. Like, respect, you know? But that was the kind of mom she was. Now, remember that's gonna come back later. Okay? So I was hanging out with Maddie, and one day she tells me, hey, my little brother plays this game online with his friends. It's called Roblox. Maybe we could all play together, and that'll give us a reason to, like, chat and hang out.
Right.
I was like, that's genius.
Had you played Roblox before this point?
No, I never played Roblox before that point.
Okay.
I was like, I'll make it an account. Why not? Okay? It was actually perfect, because we could play Roblox, and we could have, like, Skype calls at the same time, so we could, like, voice chat. It was sick.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I got into Roblox because of that, but like I said, I have an addictive personality. So as soon as I started playing Roblox and these other games that like Sam and Maddie introduced me to, I was hooked. I was like, dude, forget being captain of the team. I'm trying to be captain of Roblox. So for real, like me and Maddie would play together, and like all the time her little brother Sam would join us. So it was like 3 of us.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. Like Sam introduced me to a bunch of games in Roblox, but also games in general. So like the games that we really like were the social ones, because obviously that allows me and Maddie to chat. But it was also like these games you could like farm levels. Like basically the more time you spent in the game doing like very menial tasks, the more levels you got in the game, and then like you look super cool compared to everybody else. Because you have like the most levels. So I do want to say everything up until this point was going great. I was spending time with Maddie, it was great. Okay, the relationship was going well, everything was going well. I was like, this is sick. However, the addiction, the Roblox addiction kicked in, and me and Sam said, we gotta be the top, we gotta be the best. We gotta get to the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah.
We gotta be #1 in the world at these games. So we figured, okay, we don't have much time to play. How can we level up? Sam, being as smart as he was like, I got an idea. He was like, why don't you give me your computer? I had a laptop. He's like, give me your computer, I'll take my computer. I will do some computer wizardry that will allow us to basically move the characters and farm levels even when we're at school.
So like you're cheating.
That's not cheating. Now, I will say I do not endorse that, okay? I don't endorse that. Play fair and square. In Sam and Maddie's house, they had like this like dark basement that apparently nobody ever went into. He was like, dude, this is genius. I will turn on my computer. I'll take your laptop. I'll take Maddie's laptop. I'll take everything. I'll put it in the basement where no one ever goes. I'll just leave them running all day. And like, we'll just farm levels.
Just leveling up all the time.
Just leveling up. I was like, dude, this kid is an actual genius. So everything's going well. And I was like, wow. I am on top of the world, okay? I got a relationship going well. I'm on my way to become a swim team
You're
captain.
Leveling up your love life, your Roblox life, your school life. Everything's leveling up.
Most importantly, I'm becoming great in Roblox. That was the most important thing. But I will say this, Adam. It was a slippery slope. It really was. I actually started to care less about school because I was invested so much in these games. I actually started slacking off at swim practice. I was just thinking like, how am I gonna could I borrow more computers to like level like more accounts? How do we do this? Right? I was like chatting with Sam all the time like, okay, how are we gonna do this like over Facebook? How are we gonna level up more? How are we gonna get to the top? So everything did start to kind of decline. At a certain point in the relationship, Maddie started being like, you're talking to my little brother more than you talk to me. I was like, I got a business to run here.
That's how I sound now. You talk to chicken more than you talk to me.
So I started slack off in school. I started not trying swim practice. My career was on the line. My relationship with Maddie started to not go so well. It wasn't the best. And then I heard that Sam started like trying less hard in school. Sam had always been like a perfect straight A kid. Now he was so invested in Roblox and these other games we were playing outside of Roblox, he like couldn't focus in school.
Oh no.
All of this story basically culminates in this one day. One fateful day. So one day on a weekend, I actually do get the chance to go see Maddie in person. Okay? Now I'm there and she's getting dropped off by her mom, who again I've heard of is like very, very strict. So you know, I'm there, I'm chilling, I'm just waiting to go hang out with her. And a car pulls up and Maddie hops out, her mom hops out, and her mom says, "Oh, so you are this Justy character?" I say, yeah. And she looks at me and she goes, "You are a bad influence. I don't want you dating Maddie anymore, and don't play any more games with Sam."
Are you kidding? No way.
She found out the whole ploy, and she realized I was responsible for Sam not trying very hard in school. Do you want to know how she found out about our whole ploy?
How?
Maddie's mom literally looked at her electric bill and it had gone up because we had so many computers running in the basement.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually how she figured out. She was like, okay, something's up here. The electricity bill is going through the roof. I don't know why. And apparently she had wandered into the basement and found like 40 computers running Roblox at the same time. I wonder what went through her head when she found that. Just like a bunch of characters in Roblox. So she literally found our stash of computers. Now, again, it was Roblox and a bunch of other games as well. But she was like, my son, Sam, the genius kid, the prodigy child, making us money with his stonks. This kid is getting distracted by these games. She must have sat him down and said, who put you up to this? And then he said, it was me. And so at that point, I realized, Justy, what are you doing? Get your life back in order. I had lost the relationship.
Wait, her mom made you guys break up?
She was like, I don't want you spending more time with Maddie or Sam. You're a bad influence. And I'm gonna be honest, I was so invested in those games, I had caused all these problems.
Wow.
It was really my fault. I said, Justy, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, Justy, you're gonna try hard again in school. You are going to try again on the swim team. You're gonna be better to people you're in relationships with. You're not gonna neglect them for video games. And then I turned my life around. I gave up Roblox.
No, we play Roblox like all the time together.
I'm still addicted! This was a story in which I almost actually perished.
Really?
Yes, I was almost swept off the face of the earth by a crazy clown. This takes place when I was in high school. Now, in high school, I didn't have a car. So I relied on, sometimes my friends had cars, they would drive me around, whatever, or my parents could give me a ride, or I could take the public transportation. Okay? I was hanging out with my friend at school, and we were both into playing video games.
Okay.
So he was like, you know what, you should come over. We should play some video games together. It's gonna be crazy. I'm like, oh, let's do it. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. I actually just got the new gaming console, and I've been saving up my allowance, you know? I got the new console. I could bring it over to your house. We could play it together.
Okay.
He's like, oh man, let's go. I said, but you know, there's one problem. I don't have a car. I can't get there.
Right.
He's like, no problem. My parents can come pick you up after school and we can all go together. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, done. Easy.
Now, have you been to this friend's house before?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I was like, you know, we've been friends for a while, so, you know, it don't matter.
Right.
The day comes, you know, I actually brought my console in my backpack to school. And so after school on Friday, his parents came and picked us up and we went to his house together. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but his house just happened to be located in a pretty sketchy part of town.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that at the time. I was like, wow, whatever. So we get to his house, you know, it's actually going fine. We're sitting there playing video games, you know, chilling, having a great time, you know, drinking some soda pop, you know, eating some chips, having a jolly old time. Pretty deep into the night, you know, we're still playing video games. And I'm not gonna say this happens often, but I felt a little rumble in my tummy. So it was late, it was probably like midnight. And I had a stomach ache. I was like, oh man.
Too much like soda and pizza and
I
stuff?
had one too many donuts, clearly. Honestly, I was prepared to like sleep over, right? You know, friends sleep over.
Right.
I was like, I gotta go home.
Oh, you're getting sick.
I was getting sick. I was actually sick. I was like, I gotta go. But the problem was his parents were asleep. Okay, his parents were asleep. I couldn't get a ride back home.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I was like, you know, no problem. I'll take the bus. I'm very good at taking the bus. This will be no problem. But like I said, this was not the nicest neighborhood. And so I realized about 2 minutes after leaving his house, I was standing in a sketchy neighborhood at night holding a video game console. I was like, this might not be the best idea. Okay, the bus finally arrives. I'm like, thank goodness. Okay, that took long enough. I get on the bus, I pay my change, and I go sit in the back. And I sit down with my little game console.
Okay,
no
so
problem.
far this sounds pretty good.
Except,
no.
After I get on the bus, one other person gets on the bus with me. Only one. And this guy literally looked like a crazy clown. I don't understand why to this day. He had like eye makeup on. Like his hair was like normal, but it was like very thin. It was like wispy, you know what I mean? It was literally like an empty bus, except for me. And he walked all the way and like sat basically like 2 seats away from me. So I'm starting to panic a little bit. I said, The doors closed, right? We start moving. And the guy just turns over and looks at me. I'm very confused. I don't like it. I get uncomfortable. And what do I do when I get uncomfortable, Adam?
You sweat?
No, usually I try to get a snack, but I couldn't eat anything.
All right.
So I start to panic because I don't know where I'm at. I'm holding a game console. This guy is staring at me. There's no one else. He looks like a clown and I got no food. So, what do? I make one of the worst decisions of my life and I yank the bus line. I'm like, I'm getting off at the next stop.
Oh, no.
I didn't even wait to get home. Now, I was thinking in the back of my mind, it's whatever. That was weird. Just a weird bus ride. I'll just walk home. It's no problem. The guy was maybe dressed up for a YouTube video. You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get off and I start walking. Then I realize this guy also got off the bus at the same time.
No.
So I'm trying to do that thing where you walk really fast, but you're not trying to look like you're running.
Right.
Because I was like, if I start running, this guy's gonna run after me. Like,
and your stomach is just gonna explode.
There's too many donuts. I'm thinking, like, what do I do? Because this guy's straight up following me. And to make matters worse, I did not have a cell phone at this time. So I'm like, is this the end of Justy Chromie as we know it? I use all of my remaining IQ brain power. I realize I need to find a store that's open late at night and go inside the store. I find a convenience store that's open 24 hours a day, and I walk there. The parking lot is empty. I look around, and the clown is suddenly gone. I am very confused, but then there's one car parked in the parking lot. And the door opens, and this bald guy gets out and starts walking towards me.
Wait, was it the clown?
It was not the clown. It was a different guy. I was like, did the clown just eat this guy? Where did this guy even come from? I'm going into the store. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I go into the store, and the bald guy follows me into the store. You already know I'm going straight to the chip aisle. Trying to hide in some Lay's, okay? Trying to mind my own business. This guy comes up to me and taps me on the shoulder. At this point, I'm pretty shook. I'm like, what is happening? I said, this might be it, Adam. Justy might have perished on this day, he starts to reach into his coat pocket and he pulls out a badge and says, "Hello, I'm Officer Kennedy."
He was a police officer?
He was an undercover police officer patrolling the parking lot at night. So he was wearing regular clothing and he says, "Where did you get this game console?" He thought I stole the game console. I explained the entire story to him, the clown. At this point though, I realized how crazy I must sound because the clown was not there. He was like, "What is this kid talking about?" I told him the whole story and then I made it home safely.
Really?
Yes, that's a true story.
Dude.
Yeah.
He probably didn't believe you because you told him you were at your friend's house. And that would require you to have friends. And he would just look at you and know that's a lie.
Why you gotta expose me?
This kind of leads into my story, which also involves one of my friends. Now, I was a bit younger. I was actually in middle school when this happened. So me and my friend, Ben, at the time, were like, okay, let's have a sleepover on Friday night. We were really close friends. Now, I was like, okay, come over to my place. We can like play video games. We can hang out. We can sleep over. It's gonna be really fun. So to set this story up, basically my house is like a normal house, right? But in the backyard, we have a fence, and outside of the fence, there's a big forest.
Okay.
So I was like, Ben, think of how like cool and brave we would look if we went into the haunted forest at night and we could like tell all our friends about it. He was like, okay, cool. So I'm like, okay, at 3 a.m. at night when my parents are asleep, we're gonna sneak out and go into the forest.
3 a.m.?
Yeah, because I don't want my parents knowing or like hearing that I was like leaving the house. So we stayed up playing video games till like 3 a.m. We're like, okay, dude, like it's really late. Like let's like go. Like this is our chance. We go into my backyard. We open the fence. And we see this massive dark forest.
Oh man.
Just pitch black. So I turn on my flashlight and I could see like maybe like 5 feet in front of me. And we're like, okay, like I guess this is it. Let's just go.
This is still a good idea.
Yeah, so we like slowly start walking forward. And like you could definitely hear like it was probably like false. You could hear like the crumpling of leaves as we stepped on them. So I'm like leading the way with the flashlight. I'm like looking, kind of scanning across, making sure like we don't like trip over any like fallen trees or whatever. So we're walking, like no one's saying anything. It's like pitch darkness.
Yeah.
I turn around and I heard like crackling leaves like 20 feet in a different direction, like to my side.
No, tell me he's still there.
So I was like, oh, like maybe he like went over to that path or whatever.
No.
So I was like, Ben? Nothing. I didn't hear anything. And then I heard in the distance back by my house, he was like, Adam, I went back.
What? Ben left you for dead.
Dude, I think he got scared and like turned around, but like didn't like tell me. Cause I was like way in front with the flashlight.
Adam, some friends you got.
So then I'm standing there and I'm like, wait a minute. If he's back there, what was the noise I just heard?
Oh no.
I was like, Ben? And he's like, Adam, just turn back. It's fine. Like, just come back to the house.
Just come back to the sound of my voice, Adam.
Immediately, like, when that happened, like, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I could tell something was off.
Oh.
Like, I got that sensation that, like, something or someone was watching me. So I'm standing there, because I'm like, I don't want it to, like, know where I am, so I turn off the flashlight.
What?
I'm in pitch black.
Wait, there's something moving around you?
Yeah, like, actually. And I could tell it's like, getting closer.
What?
Yeah.
Just run!
No, I was too scared. I was like, if I run, it's gonna chase after me. So like, maybe if I just stay still, it won't see me. So I'm standing there just terrified for my life. I don't know what to do. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. I'm like, I could tell it getting closer and closer. I turn on the flashlight because I'm like, if I'm gonna die, I might as well just see what's about to happen.
Oh.
I quickly point the flashlight and I see this giant rabbit just sitting there. Like the rabbit was just like hopping around.
Was it kooky?
No, it was not kooky.
He hopping around
No.
in the middle of the forest to give you that laugh.
No, it was this giant rabbit that was making the noise.
Wow.
And like this giant relief just washed over me. So I like sprinted back home as fast as I could. I got back to my mom's house and like I actually felt like so cool. Like I felt like, wow, like I'm actually such a bad boy.
Oh, really?
No, I just cried. So this story starts when I was 15 years old.
Oh,
and my
man.
best friend at that time, his name was Ben. We both were starting to take driving lessons together. We were both enrolled in this class, right? So we would both go to the class every day and we would goof around and whatnot because we wanted to try and get our driver's license, right?
Yes.
So a few days went by, it was really like chill. We were just like, oh, this is a lot of fun. And then the teacher in the class was like, oh, by the way, guys, like we actually have a new student joining today. She was like, yeah, her name's Violet. And so this girl named Violet was at the front of the classroom and I was like, whoa. I was like, dude. Okay, Violet was like so pretty.
Adam, this is a driving class. This is not pickup school. This is not dating 101. You're there to learn how to drive.
Yeah.
Not to hit on girls. What are you doing?
Violet had these really bright blue eyes, and blue is my favorite color. So Violet was this new girl, and I immediately was like already basically in love with her.
Why? Can you describe why?
Well, I'll explain why.
Let me guess. Cause she was a girl. That's the whole explanation.
No.
Yeah,
no.
No.
I noticed when she sat down, she had an iPhone right at the time. She had like a white case. I remember this so clearly. She had a little sticker of Pikachu on her phone case. And I was like, wait a minute. She has blue eyes. She's really pretty, and she likes Pokemon.
No
Those are the
way.
3 most important things about a girl for me.
Okay, interesting. So, she had blue eyes, likes Pokemon, a little bit awkward. Who else do I know who has blue eyes, likes Pokemon, a little bit awkward? What's this, your sister? What's this, your sister? Seriously.
No.
If the twist at the end of the story is Adam finds out this is his twin sister, I'ma be shook.
So I saw on her phone it had Pikachu, and I was like, that's my in. That's how I'm gonna start a conversation with her.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, why do you have Pikachu on your phone? And she was like, oh, my little brother gave me this Pikachu sticker, and I thought it was really cute, so I put it on my phone.
I bet you went up to Violet and you tried to tell her a Pokemon joke. You're probably like, hey Violet, why should you never shower with a Pokemon?
Why?
Cause he'll Pikachu!
So anyways, as time went on, me, Violet, and Ben actually became really close friends. Like, we would work on homework assignments together, and we would like pass notes in class to each other. And so we became really close. So my plan, Justin, was to ask Violet out. That was like my #1 goal. And so I was like, I would daydream in class. I would just sit there like thinking like all the different dates I would take her on. Like, I would imagine like if we hung out at her house, and I would bring like my binder of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And I would show her all my rare cards.
Right.
Her little brother would be impressed.
Right.
Her jaw would just drop. Just like hearts would appear in her eyes. It was just, I was so excited. So as I mentioned, me, Violet, and Ben were really, really close.
Yeah.
And I actually remember Violet would always bring Kit Kats to class. And she would always break off like a stick of Kit Kat and give it to me and Ben. It was like super cute. I just, for some reason, always remember her eating Kit Kats. And we would always pass notes in class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pass some chocolate, pass some notes.
Exactly.
Adam falling in love. Okay.
There was this one day when Ben was out sick. So it was just me and Violet, and we were passing notes back and forth. And I was like, wait a minute, this is my chance. I should ask her if she likes anybody. I remember writing on the note, I was like, oh, by the way, like, do you have a crush on anybody? I slid it to her, and she was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, wait a minute, this is actually gonna work. I'm actually gonna have a girlfriend.
Who does this in real life?
And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, yeah, he's actually in this class.
Oh, man.
And I was like, dude, I started getting nervous. I started sweating. I'm like, who is it in the class? She's like, I actually think I have a crush on Ben.
I totally did not see that coming.
So I was like, I was crushed. I was so sad.
That's sad, man.
Yeah, and I was like, every time I would be in the store, I would like see a Kit Kat, and I'd just be like so mad now. I would just get so sad. So the final day comes, and on the last day, you actually take a test in a car. Like you practice, you show what you've learned in the class.
Yep.
And so how it works is there's the teacher in the passenger seat, one student drives, and there's 2 other students in the back, and then they just rotate each student.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
The teacher was like, okay, join groups of 3, and then we're gonna take you out to do the test. So of course, Ben and Violet were like, oh, Adam, like, let's make a group. So we get in the car, Ben starts, teacher's watching him, and he does great. He aces the whole thing. Then Violet goes, she's taking her test, everything goes great.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, this is my turn. I guess I gotta go now. Like, I'm already so sad. So I get in the driver's seat, I turn on the car, Violet and Ben are in the back seat. The teacher's looking at me. He's like, okay, show me where the blinkers are, adjust your rear view mirror, whatever. So I go to look in the rear view mirror, and I kind of bend it down, and I see that Violet had put her hand on Ben's hand. They were trying to keep it like really subtle.
I gotta be honest, I thought you were gonna say something crazy. I thought you were gonna say, I looked in the backseat and they were making out.
So I see that they're holding hands and my face just goes blank. I can't think. I'm just like, I lose my breath. I'm like, it's over.
That should have been my sweaty hand she's holding.
I'm like, it's over. Like, I start panicking. My mind goes blank. I can't remember any of the stuff I learned in class. I was actually where I was gonna crash.
The wheel was just coated in sweat, just dripping.
I just couldn't think of anything. Like, my mind was not working. My hands were not working. Like, I was just turning red. I honestly felt like I was about to pass out.
Oh, man.
So I panicked and I literally just slammed on the brakes. I just screamed, stop! And then everyone in the car was just totally silent for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I would be terrified if I was in that car with you.
And so everyone was just quiet. It was just dead silent. And the teacher was like, pull over, this is clearly not working. And he was like, I'm sorry, but I cannot pass you. Yeah, I did not pass my test the first time.
Wait, and they were in the back seat?
Yeah.
Did they pass?
Yeah. So we all get out of the car. The professor like hands Violet and Ben like the congratulations, like here's your passing test score. He hands me like, oh yeah, you gotta redo this later on. And Violet and Ben felt really bad. And I remember Violet had a Kit Kat in her backpack that she like gave me because they felt so bad. And that was basically the last time I talked to them.
How am I supposed to react to that story? That's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Why do you do this? Why do you bring me here just to depress me? Ben passed, Violet passed, they're probably married now. And you're here with me making these videos.
So this story does not end totally bad. I had to retake the test like a couple weeks later. I had to reschedule it. And I was put in with a random group of 3 different kids, just the same as the first time. And there was actually another girl in that group that I might have another story for later.
Really?
She might have become my first girlfriend ever.
On one hand, I'm happy that the story's not depressing at the end. There's a happy ending.
In fact, the fact that I failed my test actually led me to a girl that might have been actually better than Violet.
I'm happy about that. But at the same time, this is a driving school. Why you gotta hit on everyone? I don't understand. It sounds like if you put a girl in front of Adam MacArthur, he will develop a crush on her and try to hold her with his sweaty hands. Like anybody, like literally any girl, you can be like, I got a crush on this one. Adam, this is a driving school. Why does it sound like you want an episode of The Bachelor? Like what? It doesn't make any sense. You know what, Adam? I don't really understand why you just go around picking up every girl in front of you. But I'm gonna try and learn from the master. Why don't I try writing my own little note and passing it to you?
I think that could work.
Okay, cool. Okay, all done. Let me just sneak it over. In class?
It says Adam and the watering hole.
Adam, go walk yourself over to the watering hole, Adam, cause you thirsty. This is the story of how I had an online wife. What is so funny? This happened. This is real. Now, when I get into this story, Adam, I'm gonna leave these with you, okay? I got you some tissues.
Oh, okay.
This one is pretty sad. I was 10 years old.
10 years old?
I think I was in fifth grade. I think I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
Back then, I was a real awkward kid. Still am now, okay? But I was very, very uncomfortable in social situations. And there was this girl. Her name was Amy.
Okay.
And I liked her for probably 2 years. Okay, ever since 4th grade, I'd be on the playground just chilling, you know, minding my own business. Sometimes with friends, most of the time without friends. You know what I mean? My favorite game in 5th grade was to go down the slide as fast as I could. There's a big slide that went in a circle, and I would just jump on it and go down as fast as I could.
I can just imagine you like trying to find like the fastest way, like putting butter on the slide.
Every time I would go play on the slide, Amy, I noticed, would always be nearby, just hanging out on the monkey bars, just chilling. Now this honestly was like a real life anime. everybody knows Justy loves anime. This was like a real life anime. I was like the quiet kid, didn't have many friends, but this one girl, we never talked, but she would be like around. I was like, this might be the one. So around this time, I was, like I said, a shy, awkward kid, but I had one true love. Well, I guess
Chicken.
I love food. Okay, I had two true loves. Okay, the first was food. The second was this online game called Maple Story.
Oh.
Now, a lot of people know this game. Look, Adam, honestly, I was addicted. I was full on addicted. Like literally every day when school would end, I would run home. I would get home as fast as I could.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
you
I
were
would.
running like this.
I was Naruto.
You were.
God, I need to get back to the village hidden in the leaves. I'm gonna be the next Hokage of Maple Story. In real life, I was a noob. Like I had not that many friends. I wasn't that good in school. You know what I mean? But in Maple Story, I was a baller in Maple Story. Like you have to understand, one of my big goals was to get my account to level 120. Now, for anyone who knows now, you could do that in like a day in Maple Story. But back then, it took literally like 6 months of just like every day grinding for hours. It took like a year. Like literally, I cared more about my life in that game than out of the game. Is that crazy?
No, that's not crazy. That's just sad.
It was a little bit sad. It was a little bit sad. But it became less sad because at that time, everyone in my class slowly started to catch on and play Maple Story. So everyone, including Amy, started playing Maple Story. I would play with all the kids in class and Amy would be there too. I don't remember how it happened, but we just slowly started to just kind of like, you can like privately chat in that game 1, 2, and we would slowly start to do that over time. At that same time, everyone started playing Maple Story. I started talking to her a bit more. And then we had a school play. Like all the 5th graders were in a play together. And so Amy got cast as like the pretty, like the lead female role. She's like this like princess, like lady, very fancy. And I got cast as the jester, as the clown, okay? Which is very suiting, very fitting. And this jester is actually her servant. We would not only chat in the game, but slowly we would like hang out and like rehearse lines and just got to know each other better. This was like one of the happiest periods of my life. Cause I was playing Maple Story, having fun, chatting with this girl that I liked for 2 years.
Wait, but basically what you're saying is, in the happiest time of your life,
Yes.
most of it was spent in Maple Story.
Yes.
And when you're not playing Maple Story, you're pretending to be someone else in a play.
Yes.
So when you're happiest, you're not yourself ever.
That's correct, because look at my life now. I'm just trapped in a room with Dumbo, making these videos. Blink once for help. Blink once for help. Please, somebody help me. That's true. That's true. Okay, so like I was saying, this was honestly one of the better periods of my life. I was having fun online. I was chatting with this girl I liked for 2 years. People in school started to talk to me more because they knew I knew about this game. And I was hanging out with her IRL in real life talking about this play. It was epic. It was a great time.
Do you think she liked you back? Did you know?
I know she did because we became boyfriend and girlfriend, and online we had a marriage ceremony in the Maple Story. Yes, we did. The whole guild was there.
Really?
We had a marriage ceremony in a video game. It was crazy. I had a wife, you guys.
You got married. Why did you give me these tissues though? When does this get sad?
We taken the Lanky ship into some rough waters right now.
What was it like though to have a girlfriend?
It was honestly, like I said, one of the happiest times in my life. We would hold hands on the playground, and let me tell you, her hands were nice, they were soft, they were not sweaty like these, okay? They were nice and dry, and she smelled like strawberries. I still remember that to this day. It was crazy.
Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually now worried because I feel like I'm invested in this relationship.
Yes?
And you gave me these tissues.
Okay, I'll explain. Not only were people talking to each other on Maple Story, but we also, back then, do you remember people had like instant messenger? It was
of course.
It was like Facebook chat or like DMs, but on the computer, okay? And so everyone in the class had IM, instant messenger. Now, introducing, I'm only gonna refer to this person as X, okay? No names, just X.
No longer Amy. Just
No, this
X.
is not Amy. No, this is a different person.
Oh.
This is a different girl.
Oh.
X. X is older, and X might, this is not a leak, she might be a recurring character in a future story I might tell. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So X came into the instant messenger, and she would start messaging me, being like, oh, haha, hee hee, just making some conversation. I didn't know this at the time, but she was also messaging Amy at the same time. And
What did she say?
X would literally come in the chat and be like, you know, we just got to know each other. And then she was like, oh, how is your relationship going? I was like, oh, you know, it's going really well. And she would ask me questions like, what is it like to spend time with Amy, etc. And I was like, oh, you know, I get really nervous, like I really like her, etc. And she would twist everything and be like, oh, you're nervous around her? That means she's not the one.
Why was she trying to break you and Amy up?
That might be for a future story.
Oh.
Okay, she came in the chat and would just like ask me and Amy all these questions. Like she'd be like, I remember she was like, oh, what is it like when you're with Amy? And I'd be like, oh yeah, sometimes Amy like blushes and turns really red when we hang out. And then she would be like, no, Justin, when a girl turns red around you, it means she doesn't like you and you're embarrassing her. And I was like, no, please. And I believed her because she was older. I was like, why would she just lie?
Oh no.
Like, why would she lie? And I didn't know this at the time. She was doing the same thing to Amy about me.
What?
I don't understand it.
What kind of person does this?
Me and Amy started to get uncomfortable around each other, and I noticed like she would be on Maple Story less often, and like when we rehearsed lines, it just didn't feel the same. It was literally like we were in an anime. Like we liked each other, but it was getting weird and we didn't have the bravery, the courage to tell each other like what's going on.
It was like if you were the stem and Amy was the strawberry and X took Amy and plucked her off the vine.
Yeah, okay, yes, sure. So this whole story culminates at one of my friend's birthday parties. Okay, so like I said, my life was getting better. I was making some friends. I got invited to this friend's birthday party. And naturally, what is everyone doing at the party?
Hanging out.
No, we're all on our own computers playing Maple Story, just in the same room.
Oh.
Okay? And now all the boys are there, and a lot of the girls are there too.
Amy's there?
Amy's there.
Okay.
Okay, X is not there. Everyone knew, like, oh, there's some drama going on. Like, what's going on?
Between Justin and Amy.
Between Justin and Amy, because we were like the only couple in the class.
Yeah,
like,
you guys got married.
That was my wife. Somehow, me and Amy ended up like in a closet. People were like, you guys need to go sort this out.
Wait.
Yeah, we were in a closet. I don't really know why. People thought that was appropriate at the time. And we both just looked at each other and it was so sad. We were just like, I think we have to break up.
Stop the video! Hold on, guys. If you have not gone to Walmart, Target, and got some LankyBox merch to watch this video with, go right now! Let's go!
I'm noticing all these signs. It's getting awkward. We just have to break this up. But like we didn't know at the time that X had come in and talked to both of us on the side.
Can you get a divorce in Maple Story?
No, I don't think so.
So you're technically still married to her?
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that was the whole relationship.
I do need these, man.
That was the whole relationship. Guys,
I'm sad now.
There's a serious moral to that story. Even if you're afraid to tell someone how you feel, you just do it anyways because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And if I had just said something, we wouldn't have had to break up.
Do you know where Amy is now?
Amy's chilling now. I'm still friends with her on Facebook. She's got a great relationship. I'm still here, single as a Pringle, making videos with this guy.
Alright guys, that's gonna do it. So make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more of this type of series, or if you want to find out more. I'm curious now about the mystery story with X. But Justin, wait, you have to figure this out. Are you actually still technically married to Amy?
That's actually a good question. I don't know. I need to actually make a call to my lawyer. Yes, hello? I need to file for online divorce. Okay?